there are things that happen so subtly that we are at the edge of bewilderment and confusion, not knowing what to do in that moment. Such a story happened to me. On a Thursday evening when the house was quiet, my husband went on a business trip, leaving me alone to face the emptiness and loneliness that lasted all week. I decided to find some relaxation for myself, closed the door and let the private space around me. But right then, the click of the door rang out, breaking the quiet atmosphere. The door opened suddenly. The light from the hallway shone in, startling me. At that moment, I frowned, speechless. A feeling of shame, insecurity, and embarrassment surged up, leaving an unforgettable mark on my heart. My name is Chloe. I am 30 years old, and I am currently living a life that many people think is perfect. My husband Joseph is an executive of a large corporation. He is not only successful in his career, but also a husband who loves me very much. Our life, at least on the surface, has always been admired by many people. A beautiful has a full life and a love that everyone thinks is a dream. But you know, even in the most perfect stories, there are still hidden corners that no one sees. And in our married life, there is one thing that always makes me feel frustrated inside, difficult to put into words. Joseph is a busy man. He not only works hard but also strives for the future of the couple. Since getting married, I have gotten used to his frequent absence from home, long business trips and meetings that last until late at night. I always tell myself that this is necessary for his career and also for our future together. At first, I was very proud to have such a successful husband. Every time he returned from business trips, his eyes were always full of love, and his gentle gestures were enough to fill the gap. The early days of our marriage were sweet. We often spent time together, telling each other about everything in life. He listened to me, and I also tried to do everything to make him feel comfortable. Every time he came home, despite his busy work, Joseph always tried to arrange for the couple to have outings and romantic evenings. I feel like the happiest woman in the world. However, as time passed, the pace of life seemed to change. Joseph, my husband, became busier and busier with work. He often went on business trips, and the meetings lasted from day to day, leaving him with almost no time at home. His absences increased day by day, and even when he returned, he often brought with him the pressures of work. I understood that he tried very hard, not only for himself but also for our future. But no matter how much I understood, I could not deny that there was a growing void in my heart. Besides work, what bothered me the most was the problem between us every night. Joseph was much older than me, and his health was not what it used to be. The intimacy between us no longer made me feel complete, and he seemed to realize it too. I did not dare to say it, nor did I blame him, but this feeling of loss made my heart heavier. As a woman with quite high emotional and physical needs, I crave the bond between husband and wife, but the truth is that he is no longer strong enough to satisfy me. When Joseph was away, the house felt strangely empty and cold. It was so quiet that I could hear the ticking of the clock and the rustling of leaves outside the window. Dinners alone, long nights in the big bed, everything made me feel lonely. I tried many ways to feel that feeling, from reading books, practicing yoga, going shopping, to attending classes, but those things only helped me forget. For a moment, when the night fell, loneliness crept into every corner of my soul like a shadow that could not be dispelled. I did not want to blame Joseph, because I knew he loved me and he did everything he could, but that did not ease the emptiness in my heart. I craved the closeness, the intimacy that we had in the early days of our marriage. The gentle eyes, the whispers in my ears seemed to be just memories. Now I didn't dare tell him how I really felt, afraid that it would hurt him or make him feel more pressured. But that silence pushed us further apart. I don't know how to bridge this gap. My attempts to keep myself busy are only temporary solutions. When I look in the mirror, I see a woman who is tired, not because of work or life, but because of the emptiness in her. So is there a way to bring him closer, or will I have to live with this hidden loneliness forever? I don't want to give up, but I also don't know where to start to mend the connection that has gradually faded. Can Joseph understand the things I have never dared to say? I fear that one day these things will push us into an irreparable distance when Joseph told me that his stepson William would be returning from abroad. I felt a mixture of curiosity and worry. William was almost 27 this year, just a few years younger than, and was Joseph's son from his previous marriage. However, I had never met him, because since marrying Joseph, William had lived and studied abroad. Joseph always spoke of William with pride, and I understood that their father-son relationship was very close, even though they did not see each other often. The day William returned, the house seemed to have more vitality. He was tall, had a handsome face, and a warm smile that easily created sympathy. From the first time we met, William made me feel comfortable with his polite behavior and humorous words. The atmosphere in the house, which was usually quiet, suddenly became more lively. Joseph was very happy to have William back, and so was I. William's presence was like a breath of fresh air in the house, helping me to ease the feeling of emptiness when Joseph was often away on business trips. William quickly integrated into life at home. Family meals were no longer as cold as before. Instead, there was cheerful laughter. I realized that William's presence made me feel less lonely. He often helped me with small tasks around the house, sometimes even bringing joy with interesting stories about his time living abroad. However, something happened that made the relationship between me and William strange. That day, Joseph went on a business trip again, leaving William and I at home. After dinner, I took an early shower to prepare for bed. As soon as I got out of the shower, I wrapped a towel around my body, my hair still wet. I didn't lock the bathroom door, thinking was also frowning, not knowing how to react. In my panic, my hand accidentally pulled the scarf, and before I knew it, it had slipped off my body. That moment lasted only a few seconds, but to me it felt like a century. William quickly turned away, his face red, stammering an apology. I didn't know you were here. I'm sorry. He quickly left, slamming the door behind him. I stood there, my heart pounding, both embarrassed and confused. I hurriedly pulled up the towel, constantly blaming myself for not being careful. From that day on, the relationship between William and I was no longer the same. He avoided my eyes every time we met, and I didn't dare look directly at him. The atmosphere between us became awkward, although Joseph didn't know it. But what confused me the most was the feeling in my heart I couldn't stop